Okay, so this is our first webinar for the Homeschool Mom's Blueprint. And I see this is Grandpa's Blueprint because we have a grandpa that's with us today. And, as we know, most people that are homeschooling, it's the moms. So I love to see the dads. And as you know, we're going to do the first Saturday, we're going to come together and do sort of a webinar or an opportunity to come together as a group and share anyone who wants to join to find a way to impact their child's educational program. We want to invite them throughout, whoever you are, but Florida is where we are based. We're based in Tampa, Florida, and we are working with the homeschool programs throughout Florida in a lot of different ways. And we want to get connected to everyone who would love to share their experiences and what some of their challenges are. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about what you're facing as a grandparent. One of the things I love to hear is all the different experiences and how people first got started with homeschooling. So if you wouldn't mind, would you introduce yourself and then share a little bit about how your family got into homeschooling?
Yeah, I'm Michael Brown, and my granddaughter's 12, and she was going to a charter school, and she was, I don't know, she got to where she just wasn't functioning because there was a lot of, I guess, bullying going on, and there was not to trash teachers, but there was a math teacher that was kind of pretty harsh with her. And so she got to the point where she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't doing any schoolwork or anything. And I was trying to get her to do it. And I was, kind of basically monitoring what she was doing and trying to help her. And so it got so bad, she got so depressed. We finally had to have her see an ARNP for medication and a counselor, and we took her out. Let's see, when was it? Latter part of February, 1st of March. And then we got her into Pearson's Academy, and that wasn't working either. She was doing okay for a while, and then she got to where she just wasn't even, doing her assignments, from the classes. And so we thought, well, this isn't working. So we took her out of that, and there was a friend of my daughter's who was homeschooling her kids. So she said, well, I thought, my daughter was going to flunk 6th grade. And so she said, no, she won't wait. I can get her into homeschooling with my kids, and she'll be okay. So we did that, and that was out pretty well. So we just kept her in homeschooling, and found out that we could use education.com for the curriculum. Mm-hmm. So we joined, subscribed to that. And so I print off worksheets on, it has to do with science and math and social studies and reading and language arts. And I give her assignments every day to do. And so she seems to, she does those. Well, sometimes, most of the time, sometimes she gives me a little bit of resistance, but for the most part, she completes them, and she likes doing it that way. And I grade them, and she seems to be, and she does pretty good on them. So that's how we got started.
Well, and first of all, I'm so sorry that happened, but I wanted to let you know that is so common. This is what is going on. And, I am an educator, and I started off teaching right out of college. And then after 25 years of experience, being able to see what has happened in the school systems and what is allowed and tolerated, and then also the needs that are not being met. So this is why we do what we do. So thank you for sharing that. That's what. So Richie, hello. Where are you coming in from?
Richie's a friend of mine.
Okay. This is Richie. Okay. Hi, Richie. I didn't get to meet you yet. We have to talk later. That's good. Oh my goodness. And we have Alita and is it Lori on with us?
Sorry, it's Lauren.
Lauren. Hi,
Yeah.
Lauren. I'm Lisa from
Hi.
Tampa. Thanks for joining us.
That's where we are too.
Oh, you're in Tampa too. Well,
Yeah.
great. Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about your experience, Lauren. What are you doing with homeschooling right now?
We're just getting started.
Oh, you are. This
Yeah.
is your first. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your decision for homeschooling? Like what brought you to
Sorry, and I don't have my camera on because I was in a real hurry to get on and I look crazy. So
You know what? That is perfectly fine. I'm barely, yeah.
I'm like, next time I will be on camera.
No, you're fine.
So we have been tossing around the idea of homeschooling for a while. I have a 2.5-year-old at home anyway. We work for ourselves. And so my daughter, who I'm now starting homeschooling with, she's just starting first grade. She went to public school for kindergarten, and we had, I mean, kindergarten was fine. It's kindergarten. And it's fun and she was busy, but it's just like the long days and the divide between admin for me. I was like, my condition of putting her in public school was going to be that I joined PTA so I could be involved. And there was such a divide in the PTA that I just decided that it was already kind of like not appealing to us. And then there was just a lot of personal things that kind of occurred and safety concerns. And then the tip of the iceberg was this week there was a big event at her school and I couldn't get to her.
Oh my goodness. You mean a safety event?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of police and fire truck presence outside of her school, and it was just kind of like my nightmare, and I was like in hysterics and I couldn't get to her. They wouldn't answer the phones. And so my husband, like we'd already had so much stuff in place. I have family members that homeschool and they've been encouraging me to do it. And I was like, all right, I guess today's the day. I don't ever want to go through anything like that ever again.
Oh my goodness. So sorry. And I understand completely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So, Anna, you want to share a little bit about you and what you're doing and how some of your experiences and that sort of thing, a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so I come more from the scientific background. So I have my degrees in neuroscience, and so I'm studying cognitive development and learning disability. So I really enjoy, learning about how the brain learns and how we can utilize neuroscience and psychology to enhance learning for children. And so that has been really fun to, think of ways to make, acquiring knowledge more fun and for retention and recall. And so I like looking at the science side of things. And I've been working with kids for the past 10 years, mainly as a tutor and academic coach. And so this, I think homeschooling is a really great opportunity to cater to the unique interests and needs of your child. And I think for their, neurodevelopment, it can be really positive, not only cognitively, but also emotionally. And so that's what I hope to bring to here.
Thank you, Anna. What about you, Miss Tammy? Miss
Yes.
Tammy Kinser.
Yes, Miss Tammy. Yeah, you're just like one of my students. Well, I come from a corporate background, IBM technology, but also as a counselor of student ministry for several years, for many decades. Yeah, I'll just have to one up you a little bit, Michael. I am a great grandma. I have great grandchildren. So schooling great grandchildren have been, well, they're real small at this point, those, but I have students and starting a nonprofit organization where we were doing in our student ministry, and it was a God-led, Christ-led ministry of gardening and doing Bible studies with gardening and working with students in learning nutrition education, also the giving and the developing entrepreneurial spirits and such. So what happened, how it grew over the past 6+ years is that going into now private and parochial schools, STEM schools, STEAM schools, and K through 12, regular, K through 12. But I do a lot of workshops to homeschool groups. And it started in North Carolina. I'm in Ohio right now, with intentions to move back into the Carolinas or Florida. I fell in love with
Yay!
visiting recently in Lakeland, and fell in love with that area. Different than what we always vacationed in the Gulf Coast, on the Gulf Coast, but yeah, so just excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and look forward to seeing how my experience in kind of our tag, if you will, for Cross Creek Cares, which is a nonprofit, is to build, grow, learn. And we do that through gardening, but it isn't just learning nutrition. I shouldn't say just, but it isn't only nutrition education, but in the curriculum and the teachers I work with, the coaches and schools I work with, they incorporate it into science and biology and mathematics and history. And there's so much more that developing a garden can encourage and instill in a student's young mind. So that's it. I have recently retired from the technology industry. I did that. I attempted that a couple of times, but I do enjoy it and it's interesting. So I do some consulting in IT, and I also do grant writing and such for other organizations, other nonprofits. Now having my own, doing the same for my own. So just look forward to finding ways that I can bring my experiences to American education. International. I've read and researched a lot about what you're doing, Dr. Lisa, and I am, all about everything that you're developing within the school. So
Thank you. That's
look
so
forward.
kind of you to say that. And I appreciate you taking the time to research, and I look forward to, hosting you here in Tampa, having you come and visit. So
I know we tried so hard when I was there recently, but our crazy schedules just did not allow
yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay, Jen, the art lady and the multi gifted lady.
Thank you for the introduction. But I don't think that I should take all that credit. So I'm a mother of three, and I'm an empty nester. And so as I, raised the children, I was a stay-at-home mom myself, but I did not homeschool. I just got involved with homeschoolers in North Carolina. I lived there for the longest period of our military life, 10 years. And so while I was there, I started Jen's Art Studio in North Carolina, and it thrived. It was wonderful. One day somebody came in and painted with me, and they're like, I think you should, paint with our homeschoolers. And I was like, okay, I'm up for it. And it was something new. I normally just taught adults. It was the wine and paint, or just coffee and paint, or those fun classes that we would do. And so when I experienced it, I really just saw like a totally different group of kids. Having three of my own, I was always around, public school kids, which my children were. And I just fell in love with just teaching homeschoolers. They were just they're a different type of different breed of kids. But I also got to, get to know some of the parents and, their struggles. And so I feel like I can relate, to all of this. And I think I might have a lot of good ideas and ways to, help the kids enjoy school through art and through nature, as Tammy and I have discussed. And I think it's really important that they get these extracurricular activities. And actually, they didn't get art in their educational things because it was an extra cost. And so I would always, offer it at a very low cost, something that could just, that I was able to, afford to just, supply. And, then
Got a baby back there.
oh,
It's
Bettina,
Batanya's baby.
Tanya, we got a new mother online.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
And anyways, it just, went from one thing to another. And I just started creating a bunch of events in North Carolina. And then of course, living in North Carolina moved me to several different cities within North Carolina. And then we ended up having an opportunity to go to Singapore. So that's where I'm at now. I'm in Singapore, but I've been there for about a year and a half. And since I can't work, I'm just doing my art and just, I've discovered so much while I'm there. And I'm back here because this is where we're going to retire, because this is where I grew up in Florida. I grew up in Lakeland, Florida. 30 years ago, I moved away and I'm back now. So I'm really excited about this next phase of my life.
Yeah.
Actually, I've expressed it a couple of times, to some of the people, but it's just an exciting time. So I'm really excited that you and I met, and it was through the homeschooler group online because I wanted to get back into that group. I wanted to have a focused group of people. I still do the other stuff, but like I just wanted to focus on the homeschooler. So then I started joining all the groups online, and that's where we met each other, you and I.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Well, Batanya, thank you for joining us. What we're doing is we're talking about our backgrounds, introducing ourselves a little bit, and the parents. We have some parents here that are talking about what inspired them to start homeschooling and really what was that pivotal moment. And so we've had some really common, but some almost tragic stories with why people have started homeschooling. A lot of it to do with the safety of the children, the environment, bullying issues of not contact and not being able to be involved in their children's education. And some of it to do with the issues with teaching and just the emotional and social well-being of the kids, plus the academic support. So that is a common thread of why people are doing it. Would you like to share a little bit, Batanya, about your household? You've got a house full, and a little bit about your what's going on in your world.
I could. I have a bunch of my kids over here shouting around, but I'm very interested in homeschooling. I haven't made the jump yet, but exactly the same concerns that you just shared that people have is exactly how my mind works, as far as like the kids' safety and not being able to have like an individualized education plan for my children. Because they're all so different, they learn in different rates. And so that's something that would really interest me to be able to cater to each one of them. And that's my main thing, safety and the individualized teaching.
Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody opening up and taking time to share your experiences and about you and where you are at what stage you're in your life. And one of the common struggles with homeschool families is they want to do it, but they don't have the education background. So they struggle with what and how to do it with the curriculum. And I've heard Michael say, they basically got on education.com, a website, and started doing worksheets and that sort of thing. And that's how a lot of parents start. They just get started somewhere. So I'm really happy to meet you all today because that's what we do. My background is in education. We have a private school in Florida that serves international kids, but when we started having homeschool families reach out, we created a program, just several different types of homeschool programs to be able to offer the support for families based on what was best for them, that could tailor make the programs. And so for you, Lauren, and Betania who are not in the homeschool arena yet, you're just getting started really. One of the opportunities we wanted to share is that you can have that education that you want, and you can get a scholarship that would allow you to tailor make your own child's education plan. And in the state of Florida, we have a school choice laws that now have approved homeschool parents for receiving scholarship money, and they're called personalized education plan funds. And so if you haven't applied yet, I want to encourage you, because I think there's about 2,000 scholarships left for this year. You're going to get anywhere between $7,500 beginning all the way up to $10,000, depending on your area, what county you live in, depending on different unique needs of your student. And you will notice that there's several types of scholarships that you can apply for. So when you get in there, you can start getting into it. You see, you've got the Unique Ability Scholarship, the New World Scholarship. The main one for the homeschoolers, this is it right here, the Education Choice. It's for all levels, and it's called the PEP, Personalized Education Plan. So there is an opportunity for you there to do that and to not have to pay out of your pocket for high quality education services. And with us, we have a couple different things that we do. We have in-person programs all throughout. If we have a program where you're located, then they're usually Tuesday, Thursday in person, 4 hours a day, 10 to 2 in the in-person. And then the other Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's online classes that are a bonus, and they last about 90 minutes. That way you get the whole comprehensive thing. All the subjects are integrated, and we'll share a little bit more about that. But one of the things before we get into a lot of that, people wonder about why they would, some of, the expectations and the issues about, well, if I apply for a scholarship and I get this, then the government's going to be in my business. This is a lot of the mindset. And the truth is that these are corporate scholarships. They're not governmental institution scholarships, but the only thing that is required is that you submit your choice to be a homeschooler, okay, which everyone has to when you do that. And there's a way of doing that. We'll talk about that in another time. It's just basically sending a letter in and letting them know that's your choice. And then when you homeschool at the end of the year, you'll submit a little norm reference test that we take care of. It's just basically showing that you are, in fact, you have an education plan, and we're tracking the progress of your kids as an education institution. It could be any kind of assessment that has been approved, and we use several different ones, or you all can choose one that you like as well. So that's really the only thing that's required. And what happens is once you get granted the scholarship, you will have a bank account that through the education management system, they call Emma. And that, again, that's through one scholarship agency, which is Step Up for Students, but there's another one in the state of Florida called AAA. So some of you all might be familiar with that, but the Step Up for Students is one that is very easy to navigate, because what you would do once you have an account, they call it an education management account again, you would apply by creating a login here, sending an application in. Once you get the scholarship, then you will go in here and choose your provider within your system. And one provider that's a direct provider, one of your choices is American Education International. However, you have a lot of different choices in there that you can look for, but we are one of the providers. So with that, it's going to be who is going to meet and how are you going to create and manage your child's program so that they are getting the best of both worlds. You've got them at home. You've got them in as best of this safe situation as possible, but you really want something that's a challenging educational curriculum, but yet healthy, socially healthy, emotionally healthy. And so it's a customized learning experience. So I want to ask you all if you could have any kind of program for your child right now. We've got several different age groups here represented. What would that look like for you? Michael, would you like to start and share if you could have anything that you wanted for your granddaughter? What would that look like?
Well, she definitely loves art. That's her that's her big thing. She just spends a lot of time drawing, and she draws these characters and these what do you call them? Not like anime, I guess, characters,
Anime, yeah, the kids love that.
stuff like that. And she's really, well, of course, I'm her grandfather, but she's really pretty good at it. So I'm not biased, of course, but and I don't know what else. But she does have a lot of social anxiety. Like one of the things that we were encountering when she was with Pearson is she did not want to get online with teachers face to face. I mean, like her anxiety just went through the roof, and so that's an issue. But that's a good question. I guess just a good rounded out education, but with a focus on art. That's what she likes. She also is very good at.
I want to interrupt you guys when you said that she likes the anime. My daughter, she's 20. She just turned 23. She's the youngest of the three that I have. She has adopted, I guess, my gift of art or whatever. But I just want to show you something that she did for her. I'm in her place right now that she did for her boyfriend.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
She did this all freehand. She started this when I lived in Blowing Rock. That was my last time before I left for Singapore. And she finished it quickly, but she's been working on it. An artist is such a perfectionist, what she is, and she likes to just, keep editing and editing. But this is the final piece, and I just love it. It hangs over there by Nathan's. This is their office room because she works from home.
Oh, yeah.
But look at that. I mean, and this is nothing. She is amazing. She is amazing. I'm looking at all of her art right now at her desk. I'm sitting at her desk. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you. This is I don't know if y'all familiar with this, but it has something to do with those animated whatever, those war, whatever. I'm not in fantasy, all that stuff. But anyway.
Oh, it's beautiful. Wow.
I know. I was just like, that is just, I love it. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm excited to, share a little bit about art wise, if your children we have a pretty good curriculum, that can intertwine education and being artistic. I like to be able to bring out the best in each child. Everyone has a different idea of art, and it could be abstract, it could be realistic, it could be the animation or whatnot. But I think it'll be fun and exciting. I'm excited about it.
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about when you were talking about the anxiety online, Michael, one of the things we found out is the in-person is really great. But what we learned about education to be able to help the kids master is the digital products now that we have been using are so good in engaging with the kids, and they are learning at an accelerated rate instead of doing the old worksheet stuff and the old textbook stuff. So that's one of the advantages to the online. If there was some way to overcome the anxiety, and what makes me think about your granddaughter initially is she anxious about the academics with the teacher, or is she anxious about, like you said, the social interaction because of maybe she's got to overcome in building a relationship with whoever that is, whether it be face to face or whether it be what. But what I got to thinking about what might be nice to try out in the future, we'll talk about this more, is if she really loves art, one of the things that we could start in person and online with her would be to allow her to be both places in art. And that way, if she started with that, that's something she loves, then she's going to overcome that anxiety because she really loves art. She's going to be focusing on the content and what she's doing. And also, it gives a lot of access to kids, quick access. They have something that they need help in, and you don't have to, drive somewhere and wait and then drive back. It's sort of like, okay, let's get in the classroom. And so that is really convenient, and it has been efficient. And some of the reasons that we love the classes online so much is the in-person it's just not enough for the kids, giving them what they need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, we have there's a teen hangout on Friday night. She does fine. I mean, if it's in person, she is not near as anxious. There's something about being on screen that bothers her,
Oh,
so, but she's got to, she has to get to know someone once she makes friends. She's got she made 2 friends automatically the first meeting we had with this community homeschooling, and they've stayed overnight with us a couple of nights. They're her friends, so she makes friends quickly. But she's got to know people, face to face, and once she gets to know them, then she's more comfortable.
oh yeah.
Michael,
More
can I
comfortable.
interrupt real quick, Michael?
Sure.
When you said that she is comfortable online, not comfortable online, but comfortable possibly with people that she knows, what I do is I do virtual art classes. And if these other homeschoolers that she's meeting want to be online at the same time to do a virtual art class, we
Yeah.
can do that. And that might help her, one, to adjust better to being online, whether it's with her friends or not, and then get more comfortable with that. But I think, my kids were the same way. They're very standoffish until they get to know somebody. They're very quiet. They're uncomfortable. Then that's normal. Then you start getting to know somebody and you can open up and you feel a little bit more safe. I think that's important.
Of course, she turned 12 in July, so that was a big
Yeah, that's a big change. Yes.
Oh yeah.
stuff, going on. It's when she was younger, she was
Yeah.
very social.
Yeah.
And suddenly some alien came in a way, and
That's just a preteen girl,
Yeah, exactly. I've been through that. 2 boys and a girl.
Yeah.
what did you do with my granddaughter? Where'd you that's so it's that issue that she's dealing with too, those issues.
Yes, sure. So that's normal. And she just wants to be heard, and she probably wants to just be herself, and she wants to understand, it's new. And my daughter went through the same thing. So I kind of feel like I've been there and, done that. So yeah.
Yeah, I will add a little bit as far as gardening. Obviously you think gardening, you got to be you're out in the yard, you definitely needs to be one-on-one, but I too do a combination of digital, online, remote classes. I'm doing gardening. Students all meet each other, digitally online, but then they have an opportunity when we can get together in real time, and or they will start a small little garden project in their home. That was what without going into great detail, it was more when we first started them was researching hydroponics and starting a garden indoors so that you could grow year round, and so, but anyway, that aside, they can grow with a small little set something in their home or on their patio or their deck, and then they share with each other using that technology that they like, to do a video of and showing each other online remotely what they're growing at home and what they're learning from it, incorporating what Jen and I have talked about is that art piece. They like art, they can draw what they're growing, kind of this is what the seedling looks like at 2 weeks, and now here it is at 4 weeks, and now at 8 weeks we're harvesting, and showing that what they're growing. So there's a great combination of being able to do, on-site classes, in-person classes, but also adding that digital world that youth are more in tune to doing than we are, but then addressing, like you said, Michael, your granddaughter that honestly, grandpapa, whatever she calls you, that is a girl that's in that age that they will, 1 minute they will, be on your lap cuddling, and the next minute, slamming the bedroom door and screaming. So that's just, you just take a deep breath and get through that. They get over it. But yeah, it's a challenging time for them because they are coming more aware of themselves. They're more social when they're younger. Then they do start feeling those either self-doubts or, confidence and things like that. But that'll build over some time with encouragement. So
She does like to garden too. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
great.
great. That's
And
great.
those two things are wonderful for kids.
like to be in the woods.
Right. And unfortunately, that's just something that is not talking about not being able to offer children in a public school setting. Those things are just not afforded because they've got this state mandates on them on, this is what you have to teach them. This is a book and you have to learn it and take a test. And, they're just missing out on so many things by not doing these gardens in classrooms or in the back, in the parking lot, and raised garden beds and doing art classes. They just don't offer that in schools, and unfortunately that is where so much of our children's minds grow, and no pun intended, but yeah, it grows in the garden. But anyway,
I think a lot of that it stems from how they have to keep an environment. They want to keep an environment very controlled because of the discipline issues and what Michael had originally sensed, the bullying and all of that. And that's exactly why they can't do a lot. It has to do with the mandates, but it also has to do with societal issues. What's going on in the children's homes, because there are schools that focus on different things. But what we're finding is the interest for homeschooling is taking off like what we'll say wildfire. I mean, it is unbelievable how many people are in Florida alone. In our area, there's at least 500,000 homeschoolers, and it's growing. And every year they know this. And so with the trends, they are offering the scholarships for families so that you can get all the different programs that qualify. So, Anna, what would you say to Michael about some of the things that, because this is more like an expertise that you have, some of the things that he shared?
Yes, for sure. I really liked how you mentioned that your granddaughter was into arts. One of my specialties is in researching arts integrated curriculum. So, the whole STEAM, versus STEM. And I actually did my final project on that. And I found that integrating arts is a key part of curriculum because of that emotional attachment that students can have with art. It actually allows them to retain the information better and understand it better. So art is very important. And then as far as the social side, speaking, as the director for the South Florida Homeschool Program, we at AEI, we really do want to foster those social skills. And we have field trips where we really want to build the community and build those relationships. And as well as even in our curriculum, it's very collaborative. So for the students with discussion, so building those communication skills so that they do have those life skills that students will need to become, citizens and adults in real life and that can contribute to society. And so I think that social is just as important as the academic side. And so being able to foster those both simultaneously is really important. And you need that collaboration with students and in an area of interest to them, right? So that they don't feel as threatened by those conversations.
So Anna, gardening is definitely good for the brain, right?
Yes, yes. There's many benefits to art when it comes to retaining information and increasing memory, long-term retention, all of that. So for example, like if you were to teach about astronomy, instead of just, talking about the planets, having them draw the planets or have a craft or a DIY around the planets, they'll actually remember the planets a lot better than if they had just read about them.
Anna, tell everybody what STEAM is. There might be some people that don't know about STEM and STEAM, that sort
Yeah,
of.
so STEM is the traditional, core curriculum, which is the science, technology, engineering, and math. And then they added, like a decade or so ago, the A, which stands for arts and humanities. So they are making a shift to move more into that arts, even with the increased defunding of arts programs, unfortunately, just because of the focus on standardized testing in America and how we can compete with other countries. We have been really math and science focused, but there is still benefits to having art. So we're trying to get the arts back into the main conversation because, yes, we need STEM careers, but I think humanities is super important as, interwoven into STEM to be able to just give well-rounded individuals and not just robots in a factory.
Right. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to talk more about the theme in a minute and how we're integrating all of those into our themes, especially this month's theme. Lauren, can I come back to you and ask you that very same question? What would be your ideal program or way of educating your child? If you could have anything that you wanted, what would that be? What would that look like?
Okay, so I've already started purchasing certain things.
Yeah.
So we have 3 girls, all 3, like my toddler, it's soon to tell, but she's very like musical and theatrical. The oldest one's 13. She's dead set on she's into modeling. My middle one, the first grader, who who I'm basing a lot of this around. She's in all-star cheerleading, but she's also like, she's my little mini, and my background is helping people get their businesses off the ground. I was a manager in you know what Armature Works is here, right?
Yes, yes.
So I oversaw something very similar in Tulsa, Oklahoma called Mother Road Market. So my kids have been around me helping people get their businesses off the ground as like food incubators, crafters, people in markets, and all of them are always trying to come up with like, if I do this, can you send me to can we have a booth at a market? They just want more they just want more than just academic stuff. They want more freedom, and they want to like do their own thing, and they're like, they want to come up with an idea and take off with it because that's what they've seen me do and help others do. So I want them to have the freedom to like start young and pursuing stuff other than just like being bound to like 8 hours a day of watching and waiting for other people to get their stuff done and be disciplined and stuff. So there's that. And then also our family is newly being introduced to Christ, and we want to have that be a big part of our life. And that's one of the things that I've already purchased now is the language arts program is, I guess,
It's beautiful.
yeah. So we've already started doing some of that. But I guess it's just like, I want them to have that. I want them to have God at the forefront of their mind. I want them to feel like they have no limits on what they can do. I want them to have life skills early. And I want them to be able to have freedom to like, I mean, Rory has already been, my 13-year-old, she's already been approached for modeling and stuff like that. And it's like, if she wants to do that, I want to back her. So I don't know. I guess I just want us to have more freedom. I want us to do more out of the box stuff for learning. And then I want them to be able to talk and learn about God.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even our AEI curriculum, I think builds really well into that, because we do have different themes that can fit perfectly into, you know, if it's entrepreneurship or whatever that may be. And with that core based curriculum of core values, that is something that we're introducing that Dr. Lisa has been working on, that I think is really exciting, because we don't want to just teach information. We also want to make sure that the core values are also being taught. And that was a really interesting thing that you brought up, because, you know, we do want to make sure that they are empathetic and resilient, not just they can do math. So that's
Yeah.
a very important point that you brought up, Lauren.
Yeah, I want to mention that too, because the entrepreneurism and God-led are the two things that have gotten me through a lot. Even in the corporate secular world, also in my journey, my Christian journey. It's very important for students, while we do want to respect obviously all walks of faith, you know, all faiths, want to give our children the ability to feel comfortable to express what their faith is, what their family's faith is, right? But entrepreneurism, speaking of the core values, again, I'm just going to be what I've researched on about AEI, and looking forward so much to digging further. That entrepreneurism is so element. So many kids right now will say, they used to always say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a ballerina, I want to be a fireman. So many now. I've been working in STEM schools and STEAM schools, most recently past couple of years in a community STEAM academy. And so many of them are saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. But then it's like, what does that mean? You know, what entrepreneur, what, you know, tell me about that. I don't know. I just want to be an entrepreneur. So some of them, they're hearing that and they know, but they haven't had the opportunity to explore or understand that something that they have an idea for, maybe a widget or a service that they have a vision to provide others. But that is having an entrepreneurial spirit, but they don't know how to execute it, you know, or that it's actually possible. So again, with those biblical principles, whatever your faith is, and with that entrepreneurial spirit, giving them an opportunity to grow it, and is what I see AEI and some other schools that are starting to adopt through that STEAM programs, and not as much the traditional K through 12 district type schools. So
Yeah, I think it all boils down to really developing critical thinkers. And that is something that is missing. So unfortunately, in a lot of typical schools, is the children are not taught these skills of being a critical thinker that really lends itself well to being an entrepreneur and you know, making your own way. And so that's why I think homeschooling is a great opportunity to bring back those skills, that they really have to use that wisdom and that logic, and not just regurgitate information that's given to them.
I think it's also just the environment too around the other kids. Like both of my kids, the first grader has not been tested because it's early, but she kind of has some qualities. But the 13-year-old, she's gifted. So they're misunderstood. They're getting caught trying to sell bracelets at school. They're like constantly, their brains are like way different. So we want to also have them be around like-minded people. It's not just like, I want to pull them from this environment because like I'm anti this. It's just that like, let's get them doing something else. Let's have them thrive. I don't necessarily want to spend all of my days every day in classes or online, but I do want them to like meet other people that are like them, so they don't feel so like, you know.
Yeah. If we keep doing the same thing that we've been doing and expecting different results, you know, that's not going to lead anywhere. The test scores for math
crazy is
reading.
what you want to say is what it is. That's what they say
Yeah.
the definition of crazy is. It's doing the same thing over, expecting a different result.
Yeah, and the math and reading scores have been the lowest they've been since the 70s. So we definitely need a drastic change in the education of students. And I think homeschooling is a way to go back to our roots and to rediscover the true meaning of education, and not just creating factory workers for the, to just go out there and work 9 to 5s, but creating individuals that have unique interests and talents that they can bring.
Yeah, and that just triggers a thought. When I first went to the meeting with the community homeschoolers, these kids really, expressed themselves, and I thought I was at a costume party. Some of these kids were wearing, all kinds of different dress, and even my granddaughter, she has these little horns, that she can fit on her head. And she went, and I thought, ooh, I don't know about this. But boy, as soon as she walked in there, there's some other little girls that go, wow, I love your horns, and then all that kind of stuff. Boy, they just connected really fast. And I'm going, wow, this is wild. It's just, I think it was great. Everybody just felt like they belonged and they could express themselves and be who they are. And, when she was at Jewett, which is a charter school, they had to wear a uniform, and then when they had days when they could just dress how they wanted, she would dress very differently, and she was made fun of and mocked and ridiculed, and that just really hurt her. I mean, that just really, that's one of the starts of where she just started going down, so.
Yeah. Well, you all have really summarized what a lot of families have experienced and what they want. So definitely the ability to guide your own child's pathway based on what you discover about them. They come a certain way with certain personalities and interests. And one of the things that we need to do is to give them as much exposure and experience while they're young as possible, so that they can go towards their passions and what their gifts are. They're not going to really know if they don't experience that. And so if we keep traditional education as the pathway, then their options are very limited. And that's why homeschooling is amazing if you can have the support in the areas that you need, because no parent is going to be able to do every single thing for your child. So we're going to close out by just sharing a little bit about what we're doing. We've heard from the families what they want. And so what we've done is crafted some ways of meeting those needs. And we're constantly working on ways to improve. So Anna, would you share some things about what we're doing and the way that we're structuring this right now with the theme and the integration of the subjects?
Yeah. So
try to show as you're talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And I'll share my screen if I can find what you talk about. I'll try to.
Okay. Did you want me to start with this month's theme, if you have that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have been doing monthly themes as a way of creating a more holistic and integrated curriculum. So instead of just teaching science by itself, or just teaching language arts by itself, or just teaching history by itself, we've actually created themes where we can integrate all these subjects and then just get them all, because it's been scientifically proven that when you actually teach subjects like integrated, it actually makes it more engaging for the students. And so that's our Impact Academy, is the middle school that I work with. That's where we do our themes. And so for September, I chose to do the theme of psychology and neuroscience, because that was my favorite subject to talk about. I could talk about the brain on, but basically what we've taken is the science of neuroscience and the history of psychology, and blended it into one. And also our curriculum for our literature is also on a book that's related to that, which is the book Wonder, which touches on those themes of empathy, and that we want to, when we're talking about psychology, that we're teaching friendship, other social relationship skills. And so I thought that was a great way, because when you're homeschooling, maybe you don't have time to dedicate, a whole day just for science or a whole day just for, literature. So having one that combines them all into one makes it a lot more interesting. So this is a sneak peek into what we do for our in-persons. We have, this is our Brain Beyond theme, which is the psychology theme. And so, yeah, here you can see the different activities that what we're going to be learning, the objectives for this month. And so they are 4-week-long themes each month. And we try to always have them be, like we're going to be talking about civics and American history for the elections, or we're going to be talking about astronomy, and then we do a field trip to like NASA and Cape Canaveral. So we always try to integrate the themes to relevant trips as well. So there you can see for our Wonder Book, and then we have our Rock by Rock project, which we've been working with. Rock by Rock, if you don't know them, they are a project-based learning, and they are terrific. They have all sorts of science projects you can do there with your students, and very creative and engaging. They have little workbooks that accompany them. And so there's one that's called Save the Brains, that goes into everything from the neuroscience all the way to, injuries, the physics of the brain and the electrical currents. And so I just thought that's been really interesting. The students can also do it on their own as they read. There's little magazines that they can read. There's little questions. And that has been a great way to integrate our science into it. And then I think other in-person activities that we do, if you could, there's Unlock Math as well. So math is always important. For math, I don't know if Dr. Lisa wants to talk a little bit about it, but our Unlock Math curriculum is really great because it's integrates some of that historical or that classical history into it, talking about the mathematicians. So we actually created a workbook to go along with that. So it's the AI created workbook for each of the Unlock Maths math classes. So this is the pre-algebra one. And as you go through it, it's not just, worksheets with questions. They also have interesting information about different mathematicians and activities that you can go through that tie back to, it makes it more application based to real life and not just answering math questions. So that is something you will also get if you participate in our home education program. And so, so it's been a really incredible time being able to build these curriculum themes up. Yes, and this is the core values that I was talking about. We have 151 core values. And every month we try to incorporate which core values associate with the theme for that month. So obviously empathy being a big one for our psychology theme. And we're working on every day, making sure, these are new, but we're making sure that they are robust and great and, biblically founded and all of that. And so, there's our empathy, and you can go through it's this is more for when they have the Socratic seminar. Is that right, Dr. Lisa?
Yeah, that's right.
So we also do a Socratic seminar with our, older, middle school up kids, because that's where we really want to start having those critical thinking skills come in. And Socratic seminar is if you don't know about that, you should definitely look that up to do with your students. That's really what develops those communications and skills and those debate skills and critical thinking. So definitely lots of great curriculum coming from AEI, and I'm so glad to be a part of that.
Yes. And what we do right now, for those of you who are in different regions, we have a program that is the whole entire program where you can get the 2 days in person, one-on-one. We're having the teacher work with your child one-on-one, 2 days a week. And then the online is a bonus for you. You get all of the curriculum you need. You really don't need to go out and search for anything else. However, you're allowed to you know, obviously that's the parent choice. And we love to get your feedback on how we can do a better job with your child and some things that you'd like to see with your child. And just like with you, Lauren, you've got 3 different ages there. And if you notice on the AEI website, we have a lot of network partners. You'll notice that we do have theater partners. We do have agencies that we work with that provide the different services. And just as thinking about your 13-year-old with modeling, you know, we would be thinking about who within this realm could provide that opportunity for your oldest daughter. That's the way we would be working. As we come to learn more about your needs as a family, we would be working towards the same thing you are as a mom. What is it that we can do to give your children exposure to these different areas once we start to discover what they are? So I want to encourage everybody to join us again next month. We're going to have a, you know, just to keep the conversation going. Also, those of you who are in Tampa, please come down to our offices. You're not far. We're not far from Armature Works, Lauren. Channel Side, 615 Channel Side, in the Sparksman Wharf area. We also have an area in Carrollwood. But our motto is to work in person with the children at least 2 days a week. And we would be meeting you where you are. Usually that is the local libraries. Some of the children come on the campuses, the college campuses, and they have experience work with the tutors there. So there is a way that you can access a form online. I'll put it in the chat here. And those of you who are in South Florida, Anna is offering in her program a free week. So you can join on and do the whole program for a week just to see how you're doing. Those of you everywhere else in Florida, we can offer you a free week of the online classes, actually 2 weeks of the online classes, and that would be the math program and everything if you'd like to join it. So please check us out. If you have a little guy, you know, those are programs that we like to recommend more frequently in person, but definitely at least the 2 days is very, very productive as a family. So thank you guys for joining today. Any questions before we close out from anyone? Any suggestions or questions?
Dr. Lisa, so how long, I mean, in a 2-day in person, how many hours is that?
If it's one-on-one, we keep it, each session is usually about 90 minutes, 2 hours maybe. Usually that's about as long as a kid if it's one-on-one. Now, if it's a group, like Anna's group, their program is 4 hours. So it goes from 10 to 2. Once we build a presence within your area, Michael, then there can be the 4-hour programs. But right now, the one-on-ones are about 2 hours or less. And if they're a little younger, then what we do is try to break that time up because their attention span is a little short. You know that.
What does AEI stand for?
American Education International.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's our website as well, AmericanEducationInternational.com.
Right.
I have to head out, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next month. If I don't hear from you, join on next month. We'll put it in the post. And if you want to share your emails in the chat, you're welcome to, and then I can send you some info. That'd be great.
Awesome.
And you're welcome. And I'll also put my number here in the chat for those of you who want my number.
Thank you.
If you just prefer a phone call, you can definitely text me. And again, you're welcome to come to the channel side office. This is my email. And then Anna's is the same, Anna.
Yeah, Anna Cora at American Education International.
Yeah. Those of you, I don't think we have any, I think I had a typo in international on Anna's. So good. Yeah, but thank you so much. Anytime you all need me, thank you, Lauren. I've got your email here. And just reach back out. It was wonderful to have you guys today, and we'll talk again.
Thank you, everyone.
Mom's Homeschool Blueprint. Thank you for joining us. What I wish I knew as a homeschool mom starting out. Join our free webinar to find out. Whether you're new to homeschooling or a seasoned pro, join our free webinar on September 7th at 10 a.m. from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Get expert tips, scholarship info, and strategies to make learning fun and effective. Don't miss this chance to get free access and bonuses for your family. Register now and let's build a brighter future together.